And now France has intervened to help out the Ottomans. Now it's us versus both France and the Ottomans. And Tunis, can't forget about them. Hello everybody and welcome back to EU4 Mission Tree Only, the series where we look at countries' mission tree in its entirety without expanding outside of their mission tree. Today, you guys have been waiting for this one. We're going to be playing as the nation of Austria and attempting to complete their mission tree in its entirety, including all their exploration missions. That's right, we're going to have Australian Austria. However, before I get into this video, I do want to encourage you guys to go ahead, hit that like button, and if you are new here, make sure you guys hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on any of my other EU4 content. Also, if you're already subscribed to my channel and would like to support the channel even more, please consider becoming a member. Now, without further ado, let's get into it as Austria. So as Austria, obviously, as we all know, they are the emperor of the HRE. And we also have one of the largest mission trees in the entirety of the game. So this is going to be quite an extensive mission tree that we are going to be covering here, as it takes us pretty much all the way down to like 1821 with missions such as this and destroying like the revolutionary. However, starting at our foundations, we're going to have to go immediately for the secure electors mission, which, you know, obviously it's going to allow us to stay as the emperor, and it's going to give us a restoration of Union CB on Bohemia, and hopefully we could get Netherlands if Burgundy, which they are friendly to us. So we got to make sure we land that royal marriage with them. We got to make sure we royal marry them and they don't royal marry us for us to be eligible to inherit their country. And hopefully that'll help us complete this mission. Balancing the estates, this one's pretty easy. We just have to get loyalty of our estates up to 60%. And we get even more crown lands. And then once we get more development than Hungary, we actually get a restoration in Union CB on Hungary. However, I'm going to see if we can't get a little bit lucky and maybe just get them to naturally go into our nation. And we will summon the Diet right away, so it puts us really close to actually getting our loyalty with all three of our states to 60. We will go for the cheaper advisors, religious diplomats, and clerical education. Nobility wise, we will go with increased levies because more manpower always helps, cheaper advisors, and nobility officer rights. For the burghers, we're going to go patronage of the arts, going to give us a little bit extra prestige and prestige generation, commercial advisory board, and we will not go indebted to the burghers just yet. We'll also start out with a cheaper level 2 advisor. He's only a little bit under 2 ducats every month, so we've got to make sure we land that guy. And we start off with admin focus in our government. Have you guys heard about the Austrian Navy? No, me neither. And of course, we're going to get this event. We're going to attempt to keep Italy within the empire, just because it's going to make some of these other missions that deal with the HRE a lot easier to do. If we aren't able to reign in Italy, oh well, it'd just be a nice bonus. As Austria, because we are the emperor, we actually get a ton of manpower at the start. Even though we do have low manpower, our maximum capacity is absurdly high. We can have up to 80,000 manpower. That's because of how many nations are actually within the HRE. It also impacts our total force limit, bringing us up to 63. And once we land certain, subjects such as Hungary and Bohemia, we're gonna bump up even more. And as Austria, we are making quite a bit of money at the start, especially if I lower down my army maintenance. We're making almost 6 ducats a month. So I will actually hire a couple more advisors. The yearly inflations guy is going to be really, really nice, especially because we do have a gold mine here in Intal, which obviously at some point we're going to be buffing this up. And finally, we can complete the mission Secure Electors, just simply improving relations with everybody. And now we get extra Diplo Rep and Prestige, along with this Restoration Union CB on Bohemia for the next 25 years. Considering our ruler's 31, we're going to go for it pretty soon here. Now I will also ally Brandenburg. That's going to be nice. Just pretty much permanently secure an additional elector. And we will go ahead and attack Bohemia and force our union over them. Especially since they're only allied to Trent and our army's just a little bit bigger than theirs. Okay, and this war's pretty much already done. I was actually able to call him Burgundy to give me a hand. It looks like Burgundian secession might happen at some point relatively soon, especially since Charles is about to be 15 years old. Now, in this war, all I'm going to be doing is simply we're just going to enforce a union with Bohemia. That is quite a bit of especially in the HRE. So we want to make sure we keep our coalitions down, and we're just going to make a union with Bohemia and just take all their money. And first thing we need to do is bump up those relations, so then that way they're in the positive, because if our ruler dies while we're ruling over Bohemia and they have negative relations, we're going to lose that personal union. We can also complete this mission, which, you know, now that we own Bohemia, we're going to get yearly legitimacy and imperial authority growth modifier. Ooh, we did get excommunicate a ruler on the Venetians here, which I mean, obviously we're not able to expand into Italy just yet until we get down to this mission, Italian ambition. However, doesn't mean I can't just beat up on Venice to maybe give back some cores for some of my buddies like Milan, or release out some nations out of them as well. And look at that, Burgundy no longer has an heir, and I did just call them into this war, so fingers crossed maybe Charles dies in this war and maybe we can inherit Burgundy. And I'm getting Burgundy, I'm more than likely going to be opening up or taking exploration as our second idea group. Typically I would open up with religious ideas as Austria, just because we're more than likely going to have to deal with the Reformation pretty early on, and certain things like the manpower and true faith provinces and the additional missionary is, you know, kind of too good to pass up on. And essentially our idea set is really good for pretty much just playing as diplomatic anyways, so you don't necessarily have to take diplomatic ideas as Austria. And good old France has announced us as a rival. Thank you, France. Alright, as I mentioned earlier, we are going to make Venice give 2 provinces back over to Milan, have them give us war reparations and all their money, actually take a little bit less money and actually give the core of Ravenna back to the Papal States. And we do get the Milanese secession event. This is where it gets to be a little bit complicated. You see, I do have a mission later on, Duchy of Milan, which does give me a permanent claim in that area. However, as I mentioned earlier, we are going to be trying to keep Italy within the HRE. And looking at Milan's allies, I'm thinking we could definitely do this. And even though our ruler is about to get to the age of 40, I think it actually might be worth it to take this Restoration Union CB. It does kind of go a little bit off track of what we're doing. However, not at the same time, because again, we're going to try and keep Italy in the HRE. So honestly, let's just go for it. And we're going to immediately attack Milan because Ferrara would not join, and we're just going to be at war with Brigands. No problem, right? Tier 2 time, we're going to go with, you know, we already are going to have a ton of manpower. And I mean a ton of manpower because, as I mentioned earlier, we are the Emperor. And as we expand the Empire, we're going to gain even more manpower. And of course, as we get our subjects, guess what? They all have their own manpower pool. So honestly, it might actually be worth it to get this curtail noble privileges or even the noble officer corps. Also, this ministralis promotion would also be fantastic, just because we get additional favor growth and cheaper advisors. However, I'm thinking we're going to go with noble officer corps. I like that yearly army tradition, and I like the fact that we can kind of keep our nobility in line just by recruiting generals. And here's an interesting event. I've never really had to deal with this since one of the more recent updates, Lions of the North, because I haven't really played as Austria since then. But we can actually bring the Teutonic Order into the Empire here, and we can either just let the Teutons just join the Empire like a normal country, put restrictions on these guys, and we're going to gain 11 Imperial Authority. Fantastic. If we take this option, we're going to lose 11 Imperial Authority. We're going to simply reject them and kick them out, and we're going to lose 13 Imperial Authority. So obviously, we are going to choose this one. And if the Teutons decide to attack any one of their neighbors, it becomes a no CB war, which means calls on me and all my friendos. And the Hungarians did decide, you know what, they're not going to go under my nation, which means we get a Restoration Union CB on them naturally for the next 10 years. However, obviously that we also have the option here to take this, and that gives us an additional 25 years. So we're just going to do this, hold off on taking this mission, and we'll come back for Hungary later. We can now enforce our union over Milan. We have 60 war score, and we can get a little bit of money as well. So let's do that. And now we've pretty much secured northern Italy. Now we just have to make sure to keep it by improving relations again. And now we are a great power, which is fantastic. Because now we can also complete an additional mission all the way down here. Balance of power. Oh, we also have to ally a great power. Never mind. And the Teutons are officially part of the empire, and we could take the call for Reichsreform, giving us a CB on any nation that's not part of the HRE that owns land in the HRE. Alright, we are going to quickly unally Hungary. We'll be able to attack them in about 5 years. Perfect amount of time for us to actually lower all of our AE, which obviously we have quite a bit after taking Milan. And since we do have 2 subjects in both Bohemia and Milan, we can actually take strong duchies, which does give us an additional 2 Diplo slots and lowers the liberty desire in both of our subjects. And later on, when we go to integrate them, we could take nobility integration policy. Also, awkwardly, Castile has actually announced me as a rival. You know, we're supposed to be friends, Castile. Historically, we were besties, but I guess not in this one. And with our first idea group, I am going to hold off as of right now. As I mentioned earlier, we're going to try and get Burgundy under a PU. Whether this happens or not, because Burgundy apparently has Charles II ready to go, you know, we will see. Fingers crossed I get Burgundy, though. And you know what? I'm going to say screw it. We are just going to go ahead and open up with religious ideas. If I end up getting Burgundy, fantastic. If not, oh well. So we'll address this when the Burgundian situation finally occurs. So at the very least, we're going to get this and get the very first 2 ideas in our idea set, especially that first one. That one's great for the Imperial Authority growth modifier, and a cheaper annexation cost is always nice. And here we go. Here's the Shadow Kingdom event. Obviously, we're going to decide to keep Italy within the empire. We're going to lose a little bit of Imperial Authority because of this. I'd much rather keep Italy in the empire. In order for us to just do this, we either have to directly own all these nations, or we just have to have them be allied to us, or recently been defeated by us, or have 150 opinion of us. So really not too bad. And our truce with Hungary is over. Guess what? I mean, we're going to end up beating up on Hungary very, very shortly here. So first thing I'm going to do is insult them. Give ourselves another month or 2, and I believe, yeah, they're allied to Brandenburg, so I can probably get Brandenburg to break their alliance with Hungary. But I'm not losing out on one of my elector friends. And let's go ahead and attack the Hungarians with Restoration of Union CB. And while this is going on, I'm actually going to be improving relations with all these Italian nations. Because hopefully, just hopefully, you know, since I am a great power, I should be able to influence them and be able to get them over that 150 mark in terms of relations. Castile is at war with a bunch of Italian guys. Why? Because they're probably, trying to unify Naples and Castile together. Alright, and as war with Hungary is over, it's going to give us over 73 AE. That's quite a bit of AE, so obviously we're not going to expand for quite some time, and we're just going to go ahead and take all their money. And now we did give Croatia as part of the deal. Not bad at all. And I could complete this mission, which does just give us permanent claims in this region here. And we could also complete this one, giving us even more national manpower and even more permanent claims down here in Croatia. And eventually, obviously, we would have to go ahead and annex Hungary for us to go down these 3 missions here. Instead, we now have secure Croatia, which just basically requires us to take out all of the Venetian stuff and in Ragusa. And since we did recently ally the Polish, we're going to be able to complete the Balance of Power mission, improve relations, and an additional diplomatic relations slot. And we are so close to actually completing the Reign in Italy decision here. We just pretty much have to get Lucca, who guaranteed to basically reach over 150, Genoa, who's right there, and same thing with Florence. Really, the only thing I could necessarily think of would be going indebted to the burghers and then sending them money in order to basically bribe them to stay in the HRE. Which, there we go, I just bribed all the Italian guys, proclaimed their guarantee over their independence, and just simply improve relations with them, and the Shadow Kingdom event happens, and we get 25 Imperial Authority. Now it's time for me to just remove my guarantees over all these guys. I'm thinking for our tier 3 government reform, we're probably going to go with either expanded royal court or decentralized bureaucracy. More than likely, I'm going to do expanded royal court and then flip to decentralized bureaucracy later on. And look at that, we get trying to get the Pope into the empire. I want to make the Pope join the empire, and we're going to go ahead and take this one, so the Pope will join the empire. Or I could just say no, they should remain independent, which obviously not. I want Mr. Pope Man in our HRE, that would be fantastic. I love how I had to improve relations with Bologna, and they're no longer part of the HRE. There we go, now we can finally pass the third reform. This is going to allow us to force nations not in the HRA to become part of our empire. So nations such as Bologna, obviously we can go ahead and attack them. I'm going to do that once our royal marriage with them is actually over. I love this event. This is one of the few common events where you're actually going to gain stability. Thank you, game. And prestige. Also, I forgot to mention this, but Austria actually has a unique government type called the Austrian Archduchy, which lowers the subject's liberty desire per their development by 33%, and it makes our nobility a little bit more influential. Alright, let's go ahead. We're going to invade Venice, taking all their stuff in Croatia. We're going to call in all of our friends because we can. And the Pope has actually elected us. Well, we have actually been elected as the Pope now. Fantastic. We get an additional diplomat, more diplo reputation, and we're going to take a lot less AE. And as for the Venetians, we're going to be working down their entire coastline right here and taking as much of their money as possible. We've now completed the mission Secure Croatia, and this actually gives us a permanent claim on all of the Venetian Italian stuff. And now we have permanent claims in Serbia as well as Ragusa. Pretty much we have to full annex Serbia more or less. I believe once we complete this, well, that gives us permanent claims here in the Ottomans. And once we complete taking out Serbia, well, guess what? It gives us permanent claims even more into the Ottomans. And we now have holy war against the Ottomans, because guess what? We do border them thanks to this one province I did take. Next war we're going to do is going to be against Serbia. This is going to call on Ragusa, who's guaranteeing their independence. And we're going to beat up on Ragusa pretty fast, pretty easily. Let's let my subjects deal with them for me. And Russia has announced us as rival. Okay, Russia. And Burgundian. Oh, yes, we finally got Burgundy. We finally got Burgundy. Yes, game. Thank you so much. Oh, man, we got to inherit the entire lowlands, too. Obviously, we're going to keep our union with Burgundy. And now we can actually complete Austrian Netherlands, which I will take a little bit later once we get to Admin Tech 10 and we get into the colonization stuff. As for Mr. Poland, I'm going to re-ally them shortly here. I'm thinking actually what we're going to do is we're going to white peace out Serbia, because we're going to end up at war with France literally any second now. So let's ally Poland now. Just be ready to go. You can also finally complete this mission. This mission is such a pain. You just pretty much have to have 4 PUs over 4 different countries, or at least have your dynasty ruling over 4 different countries. So let's take this before anything else happens. After improving relations with quite a few different countries and finally coring up a bunch of provinces, we can pass our 4th reform, giving us more tax income, and everybody in the empire gets an additional +1 diplomatic reputation. Alright, now it's time for us to attack Serbia for a second time and call in Ragusa again. And just like last time, I'm just going to let my subjects do all the work for me. I'm just going to sit here and relax. Alright, in this war, we're just going to take these 4 provinces. We're going to annex Serbia, these 2 that we have permanent claims on, and take Ragusa's capital. Something else we have permanent claim on. And what we will do next is we're going to call on our pal Poland to beat down on the Ottomans. Now we're going to do a holy war CB. This is going to allow us to take a lot more land, and we have a decent amount of claims on these guys. So yeah, let's go ahead and do this. And now France has intervened to help out the Ottomans. Now it's us versus both France and the Ottomans, and Tunis. Can't forget about them. We did just take on Constantinople, so most of their stuff in Europe is pretty much occupied at this point. Now we gotta go up here and save Poland from the Ottomans. Complete reversal of the Siege of Vienna. So far, it looks like our boys are just slightly better, and that's because we have the better general. They have better discipline in us. We have the better morale. We are equal in military tactics. Oh, and I have more artillery as well. And it seems to be about the same story as when fighting the French. They equal in morale. They have better discipline. But we have the better generals. And we just straight up outnumber these guys. We have finished up religious ideas, meaning we can have the Deus Vult CV, along with cheaper culture conversion cost and clergy loyalty equilibrium. Alright, and we did officially take Paris. I see our boys are actually fighting a French army here. They probably need our backup. Oh, fighting here, we're going to need their backup. But we should be able to get the French out of this war. We are absolutely demolishing the French right now. They started this war with 70,000 troops. They have about half of that. And I'm thinking, you know, the type of peace deal I really want out of this war, we're going to go for like a 52% peace deal. War reps, money, and they're going to return Verdun over to Provence, who is a member of the HRE. And here we go. Here's colonialism, and it's spawned in Kent of all places. Alright, finally we could take the peace deal that we want. France is out, and now it's just us versus the Ottomans. And the Ottomans, they're not looking too good. And the Emperor is dead. And we actually inherited Bohemia. That actually is surprising to me. That's fantastic, because that means we can now vote. And vote for ourselves we will. And of course now we have to state all this up, you know, of course. And luckily for us in the state, well, the city of Prague here, once we actually convert this to Catholic, we're going to get a lot more imperial authority each and every single month. So let's go ahead. I don't know if I could actually convert this just yet. Maybe give it a month, please. No, and it's, let's see. Oh, because it's a religious center. That's why. Alright, Tunis would actually white peace out of this war because it's a little bit more war score. Ottomans, we have almost 80 war score on these guys. I could take land for myself, which I probably will. I might just take these two provinces. But I'm also thinking we're going to release out quite a few nations out of these guys just to kind of weaken them down a little bit more. Alright, and we have split the Ottomans completely in half by releasing out Aretna and Jandar. Finally, we can pass Perpetual Diet, meaning we're going to have a permanent location for the Diet de Convenient, and we're going to get even more imperial authority. Now it's also time to do our, you know, semi-decade-long beating of the Venetians. Let's go ahead, call on all of our friends. Don't really need to, but we're going to anyways. Alright, in this war, I am going to full annex Scilly because they're just here and kind of in between me and my boy Hungary here for no reason. And we are just going to take something like this. And only Venice would really care. So I'm glad that I chose this for the institution spread because colonialism has actually spawned within our capital of Vienna. Finally, we can take the exact peace deal that we want. This took longer on Venice, honestly, to give us this peace deal. And Protestant Reformation has officially spawned, this time in Lithuania of all places. I gotta keep a close eye on all of my Catholic pals here in the HRE, make sure none of them are going to be becoming Protestant. If they do, well, we're going to have to do the good old no CB trick. And now Saxony has converted over to Protestant. We can't allow this to stand, so we're going to go ahead and immediately attack Saxony. Even though my army maintenance isn't up, it's fine. Alright, Saxony, very simple demand. Force religion, you're going to be back to Catholic. And again, it's just down to Brandenburg, and I need to wait till my truce with them is up. Truce with Brandenburg is over. We're going to go ahead and immediately attack these guys, cleansing a heresy, getting rid of their Center of Reformation right away. I actually lucked out I actually lucked out a lot here, in the sense that only Brandenburg's the one that has converted a Protestant, and they're the only one with a Center of Reformation. Meanwhile, poor Lithuania has gotten a Center of Reformation, and then Sweden has a Center of Reformation. But, oh, they're occupied by Russia right now, so we'll see how long that lasts. So in order for me to enforce religion, apparently it costs 120 war score. So I'm just going to take these two provinces, make them give a province back to Saxony, Stettin, release out a couple nations, and that should really be about it. And we'll come back to enforce our demands on them later to force them to be Catholic again. I can apparently complete this mission, Imperial Ascendancy. That's going to give us diplomatic annexation costs, more troops, and diplomatic power. The Imperial border. And we pretty much just need Volgas to just not be owned by Poland. Which, I mean, I could do in a war later on where, you know, I'm going to be conquering Poland later. And Duchess of Burgundy has officially died, meaning we now own all of Burgundy. It's under our direct control. Austrian France, Austrian Netherlands, all that good stuff. However, we're going to have to deal with the Dutch revolt soon enough. So let's go ahead. We're going to state all this stuff up. This is fantastic. We're having a really good game. And of course, that means we're going to be taking exploration ideas next as Austria. Just sounds so cursed. And we could pass the next imperial reform, meaning we are so close to disallowing internal HRE wars. Once we do that, that pretty much means we can do whatever we want. And we're just going to full annex Ragusa. By doing that, we can complete the mission, defeat the Serbs, which gives us a bunch of development in Visoki. And we get prestige, chance of a new heir plus 33%, and we get permanent claims on Bulgaria. Which, I mean, we're just going to use our cleansing of heresy, you know, CB anyways, but it's nice to have. And finally, we could pass the next reform here. Was able to bribe everybody by influencing their nation. And this next one is huge, as it allows us to get more imperial authority by 25%. Alright, and we are going to do a holy war against the Ottomans. They have no manpower. We're going to call in everybody except for Trier. I love how Bahmana is over here in Gallipoli with their elephants just sieging this stuff down. And this war is starting to get to be pretty tough. Actually, the Ottomans were able to kind of make a bit of a comeback. So we're just going to take this much of Bulgaria in this war. And some money. We are already so close to being able to pass that next reform. It gives us just straight up more imperial growth modifier. I'm going to become the defender of the faith. It's going to cost us 500 ducats. We're going to get extra missionary. Our armies are going to be a lot stronger. We're going to get more prestige. And the really big one is we're going to get 20% more manpower in true faith provinces. The issue I'm also having with passing this next reform is getting a lot of these nations to actually be for the reform. As you guys can see, we're at 31 out of 40 members voting for this reform. However, certain nations like Lubeck are kind of giving me a bit of a hard time. And there we go. I got a diplomatic advisor for extra diplo rep, and I can actually pass this reform. So let's go ahead and do this. Now we're getting 0.45 imperial authority a month. This next one's going to basically prevent the religious leagues from happening. And the HRE will always be inherited by me. And we're going to get more imperial authority, of course. So yeah, we're going to go ahead and do this war. Should be a quick, easy stomp. And the Papal State has also called for a crusade on the Ottomans, making this even easier. Yes, the Ottomans are no match for the combined forces of the Polish and the Hungarians. Again, absolutely just steamrolled by Poland and Hungary. Okay, and we are going to take this type of peace deal. We're going to take these 3 provinces for ourselves, make Eyalet Pers a independent nation, and we're going to release out Armenia from the Ottomans. Alright, finally we can complete the Viennese Waltz, which just requires us to have a 50 development capital in Vienna, 6 buildings there, and employ 3 level 3 advisors while not running a deficit. We get permanent yearly prestige till the end of the game, and our nobility is going to be a little bit more loyal for the rest of the game also. Also, at this point, I'm going to begin our integration of Hungary. This is going to take us about 20 years to do. Basically using up all of our Diplo points, but once we do that, we could kind of go through like 2, maybe even 3 missions. Sure, probably once we integrate them, we're about to blast through like 3 missions here. And oh my goodness, we are so close. Oh, there we go. Yes, so we can proclaim this. So abolish the elective monarchy of the HRE, so it's always inherited by me. More imperial authority growth.
and Catholic will become the official religion of the HRE. Or actually, we will sign a treaty of religious peace, and subject princes no longer occupy emperor's diplomatic relations, i.e. Milan, and we will always inherit the HRE. Alright, and now we are going to pass this reform because guess what? There's only like 2 nations. I mean, I could wait until I get 100, but I don't think it's really going to change much. Yeah, no, I got 100 imperial authority. Yeah, we're just going to do this. So let's see, we got Restoration Union on Milan, because apparently we lost our union with them and made them into a vassal. I kind of like that a little bit more. And we got Conquest on Livonia. Were you one of the nations that, yeah, they're one of the ones that said, you know what, I'm not staying. Same with Friesland. Friesland I kind of expected. However, now we can complete a massive amount of missions, such as Duchy of Bavaria, deal with Brandenburg. Alright, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to charter a company from Vijayanagar here. That lands us in India and also completes this mission, the Ostend Company, which gives us a merchant, global trade power, and colonial range till the end of the game, along with giving us permanent claims on all coastal level 1 and higher centers of trade in India and in Indonesia. Alright, now that Spain's no longer at war, we're going to make them break their alliance with Poland. You guys guessed it, we're going to attack Poland. We're just going to do conquest because if we do imperial ban, we're not going to be able to take as much land as we should be able to. Now, if you guys aren't familiar with the HRE and this whole vassal swarm thing, just watch this. Yeah, it gets to be pretty gross for whoever you attack very fast. And that doesn't even include like my 300,000 troops myself. So war that they started, why are you going to call me into this? I mean, sure, do it just because my subjects can deal with it, but okay. I like how the modifier is Poland's making gains, but you actually look at their country, I would say no. Yeah, we're just gonna pretty much get a 100% peace deal with these guys. 333 admin to core everything. It's really not the worst. Also, we can now complete a couple missions, such as the Imperial Border, 100 extra Diplo, and everybody likes us just a little bit more. And now I just have to either convert all my little Protestant pals in the HRE to Catholic, or just wait until the Reformation has gone by for 50 years, which I'm thinking that's probably what we are going to do. Once we do that, we get yearly papal influence for the rest of the game. And as I mentioned earlier, now we could do the push onto Bulgaria mission, which gives us permanent claims on all the Ottoman stuff in Europe, which I guess that includes Crimea. I didn't realize that included their Crimean stuff now. So yeah, we're going to go ahead and do this really fast. Subjects are going to do all the work for me. Love how every time I declare war now, my game lags with how many people actually get involved in these things. And here come all my little German pals going straight into Greece. Oh yes, Ottomans, you done goofed. And we did just take Constantinople. All my boys are probably about to just start going up and around into the Crimea now. Yep, and here they all go across the straits over here. That's all they were waiting for. And global trade has spawned. Let me guess. Yep, England. It always spawns in England. We are now in the age of absolutism. Some of the things that we can do. We got 3 trade companies, have a potential for a large army. We didn't have the religious wars, so we don't have this to deal with. We can also have a decent amount of absolutism, almost 70. Alright, tier 9 government reform. Let's see. I guess we'll go with Leviathan for the harsh treatment cost. It's going to help us boost up our absolutism. We're making the Ostend Company. Might as well do it the right way. Alright, next we're gonna do a holy war on Bahmanas, who was allied to Russia. But they will not fight with heathens against heretics because of the Holy War CB. And yeah, we're gonna do this. This may not go well because I only have about 120,000 troops over here in India. Bahmanas has quite a lot, and that doesn't even count Jaunpur. So let's just see how it goes. Also, our truce with Poland is up. Rulers 32. Yeah, we'll do this war. I'll quickly get the Conquer Galicia event, well, mission, and we'll do our restoration of union over Poland. Well, I won't. My subjects will. Alright, Poland, time to force a union with you. Alright, we were able to get Jaunpur out of this war, which means it's just me mano-a-mano with Bahmanas, and I like those odds. Okay, Ottomans taking this much land from them, money, boom. Now we can complete the mission, Scourge of Europe, giving us 20, additional missionary strength and Diplo rep till the end of the game and prestige, and we get the Greeks in Constantinople event. We can either make it Greek and Orthodox or make it lose 5 years of separatism, which that's exactly what we're going to do because I spent all that time converting it to Catholic. Now at this point we're just down to these 3 missions here, along with just conquering Naples and later on all of Italy. aka Mr. Pope Man. Or what's ever left of Mr. Pope Man. Well, there we go. We got it. Right, claim the throne. This is the entire Spanish army trapped right here. And we're like about to just encircle them and stack wipe them. Alright, let's see. Come on, AI pals. Come on. Get in here. Stack wipe the last of the Spanish army. And there we go. And they're gone. 200,000 Spanish and Portuguese guys just gone. Oh, I could actually build the Kiel Canal in Holstein. It's because I have this much money? Sure, let's try it. Alright, so in this war, I was pretty much able to almost full annex Australia from Portugal. So now we have Austria and Australia. And all we have to do is actually just core up 5 of these provinces. And as for my boy Spain, of course, we're going to make them a PU partner. Guess what? That means we can complete the King of Naples mission. And we actually have all of Italy underneath us. Except for Mr. Pope Man, I keep forgetting about. And apparently I got an achievement. We bled for this. Win a war with over 1 million casualties on both sides. Now we're just going to invade Mr. Pope Man really fast. We're going to do the Expand Empire CB on him. For a tier 6 government reform, I ended up choosing economic ideas. And we are so close to completing the Austrian mission tree. We just have to crush the revolutionary target, so 1700. And we pretty much just have to beat up on Russia or be allied to somebody. Okay, and now we have Austria and Australia as our crown colony. We could officially complete this mission, giving us extra prestige, global tariffs, and trade steering for the next 30 years. Okay. Alright, Mr. Pope Man, welcome to the HRE.
Alright, for our last government reform, we're just going to go with political absolutism, giving us extra admin efficiency, max effect of absolutism. And as I'm sure I already mentioned, we're just waiting until the revolutionary target actually appears so we could crush them. Yeah, complete this mission and we can complete our entire mission tree. Now, if I really wanted to, I could also become the German Empire, which obviously we're not going to do. I could also reform Rome, which would just require me to basically conquer all of France, Brittany, Portugal, and all this stuff over here. But, yeah, no, I'm not feeling it. So maybe at some point I'll do a Roman Empire run, we'll see. And, Revolutionary Mamluks is a thing. I don't know how I feel about it, but we're gonna have to end that right away. I think we get a unique CB, right? So here's counter revolution. Yep. All right, yeah. We're just gonna do it. They broke their alliance with everybody. Crush the revolution. Let's go. All right, and luckily for us, Portugal actually just marched straight into Egypt, took their capital, so we could complete this mission. And now we just have to beat up Britain. Hopefully, you know, win that war, technically. Alright, we've officially made it to London. I got 200,000 troops here. Britain has almost 700,000 troops. I don't know where all their guys are at, but it's very concerning. Okay, in this war against Britain, we're going to take this one province and make them release or return a bunch of these provinces over to France. I just had to defeat them, which obviously we won that war, right? There we go. I was gonna say I defeated them. So now we can have officially completed the entire Austrian mission tree, gaining supremacy over Europe till the end of the game, giving us admin efficiency +5 and a ton of power projection. And that should give us an achievement also. Yep. AEIOU. Complete the entire Austrian mission tree. And just for you guys, we're going to unite the Roman Empire. We're going to claim the crown. And obviously, we're going to take new ideas and ambitions. And yeah, we inherited everybody. Let's see what type of missions we can complete. And after becoming the Holy Roman Empire, we get over 10,000 development. That's just disgusting. Total army size, we could probably reach there if I stated up everything. In terms of unique government, yeah, we get the Holy Imperial Monarchy, which gives us Diplo-Rep, maximum absolutism, more governing capacity, better effect of absolutism, and a higher chance to just straight up inherit our PU subject. Which I'm kind of curious, what if I were to make him abdicate? Maybe I would get Poland? No. It would have been nice if I just straight up inherited Poland. But yeah, that's going to conclude it for today's video as Austria into the Holy Roman Empire. Hope you guys really enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure you guys leave a like and also subscribe to my channel so you guys don't miss out on any of my other episodes of Mission Tree Only. Next week, we will be covering the nation of Ethiopia as recommended by you guys, and after that we'll probably do one more Mission Tree Only video before the update. And once the update comes out, we're probably going to cover a nation like Persia, maybe the Mamluks. One of those nations that have been updated in the Middle East. Without further ado, I'll see you guys in the next one. Chairman out.